Hello. Welcome to the Pitchy Podcast. We are your hosts, James
and Stephanie.
Here on the Pitchy Podcast, we are passionate about good music and a great vocal. We'll use the vehicle of NBC's The Voice to give you our take on each contestant. We'll give you our feedback on their voice and overall performance. Here on the Pitchy Podcast, we'll always keep it 100 with our critiques of each contestant's vocals and overall performance. But what we are not here to do is come for anyone's character or any contestant as a human being. Well, we may come off, it's been known for us to come off a little pitchy at times, if you know what I mean. We'll do our best to speak our truths in love, kindness, and respect. And with that, let's get season 2 of the Pitchy Podcast.
Oh, that's 4.
Season 2. And it is actually season 23 of The Voice. So we can't forget that. Stephanie, how are you doing?
I am so excited. I feel like this is our first day of school.
Oh my goodness.
You know, we had such a blast with the artists and contestants from season 22. And I am just so looking forward to seeing what season 23 will bring us this season. Yes.
And I just have no doubt it is going to be as amazing as our first season of the Pitchy Podcast. And who knows, we could have some crazy things happening and coming down the pike. We never know where the Pitchy Podcast will lead James and Stephanie. So
that's right. That,
let's jump right in because we got so much to discuss, Stephanie. I am so ready, and I can't wait.
I can't wait either. And so before we start, we will share that we're only going to talk about the contestants that made it through the blind auditions. We are not going to talk about any contestants that did not have a chair turn for them. So starting off our night, our first artist is Neil Salsich. He's 34. He's from St. Louis, Missouri, and he sang Hank Williams' Honky Tonk Blues.
Hank Williams Sr. And you want to talk about some old school country?
From
old school twang.
Twanga. Yes.
Neil, you know what? I love, Stephanie, that they started the season out with a seasoned performer.
Absolutely.
A lifer musician, if you want to call it, who's well into his 30s, who you can tell this guy's a pro. I mean, from the jump, this dude had crazy control of his voice. And, in listening back, Stephanie and I have a phrase that we go back and listen to all of these performances with our good ears. And by our good ears, we mean earbuds or headphones, good quality earbuds or headphones, because there may be some things that we miss in watching the show actually on the television. So, in going back and listening to him with my good ears, Stephanie, he is a caresser of a song. Did you hear how he caressed?
Come on.
Yes. It's like he was very delicate. He took his time. Yes. And that is all things of a seasoned performer that I like to see, that I know Stephanie likes to see. And let me tell you, that dude had an incredible yodel.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
In there. And then he had the nerve to throw that little run at the end to be like, you know what? I can run with him.
Yes.
Shades of Chris Stapleton at the Super Bowl this year.
Yes, absolutely.
Stephanie and I lost our minds run in the Star Spangled Banner to remind everyone who he is and what he can do. And that's what I loved about Neil. Neil just gave us a little bit through that run at the end. I think Kelly caught it too. And I have a strange inkling that this dude could smash some R&B. I heard it in the voice, Steph. I heard it in the voice. I said, you know what? And I think during the I don't want to call it the critique, but the coaching session, they asked him, what type of genres do you do? And like, he just was rattling them off. He's like blues, rock. He's like, my heart's with country. But Neil, I hear some R&B in that voice.
Yes, absolutely.
So that's my take. Awesome, powerful, yet reserved and caressing start to the season. I love it. I can't wait to see what he does next.
Right. He started off, and the first thing I wrote was, he wins. He wins! Because we all know how much the Voice audience, how much they love a good country vocal.
Oh, yeah.
But just like you said, James, I heard shades of everything in his voice. I heard blues, I heard folk, I heard R&B. What I loved about his audition is I think that it was structured as a perfect audition. And this is what I mean. This is what I mean. Number one, from jump, his vocal was clean. Like I heard his voice first out the gate. Then he gave you some falsetto. Then he gave you some growl. Then he gave you some yodel. So in that 90 seconds that they had, he gave us as much of his voice as he could to prove to the coaches that they should turn around.
Don't forget that run at the end too, Steph.
And the run, absolutely. So he gave us a little bit of everything that his voice can do to compel the coaches to turn around. I thought he had a lot of personality in his voice. He has like a storyteller quality in his voice. Very seasoned. You could tell before they even shared anything about, if they didn't share anything about him, I already knew that he was a working musician, or he had done gigs prior. His
Gigging
voice
for years. Yeah.
Yes. His voice just sounded like that. And what was interesting though, is that I thought that his voice made him sound a lot younger than what he was.
Yes.
He had a very young sounding voice.
And maybe that's what I heard in the caressing of his voice.
Yeah.
And gentleness of his voice. And almost a youthful,
not immature. Immature, but a youthful sound. Yes. Yeah, it was
Absolutely.
Really cool.
Great call out, Steph. That's great.
But yeah, I could definitely hear him singing R&B for sure. He has a voice that can sing a bunch of different genres. What was interesting is that I was looking at my voice app throughout the night last night. Right. And as people started being on teams, they would update the app. And so they gave little cool facts about each contestant. So I'm going to share a cool fact about each and every one of them.
Oh, cool.
So for Neil, he actually quit his job in 2014 to become an artist, to do music full time. And he started a band called the Mighty Pines, and he is still with that band right now. Nice. So he's on The Voice, just seeing if he could make it as a solo performer. But yeah, I'm very excited to see what he's going to do in this competition.
Yeah, great and strong start to season 23. Love it.
Absolutely.
So who did he go with, Steph?
Yes, he is with Team Blake. Team Blake.
Can't do it wrong, as Blake reminded us about 50 times last time. Remember, this is my last season of The Voice.
51, 52, 53.
But
yes,
yeah, very smart and strategic choice. But I think Blake, especially if Neil is going to stay in the genre of country folk, throwback country, Blake is the perfect coach for him, because it's Blake's bread and butter, right?
100%.
So
100%.
Great. Can't wait to see what he's going to do in the next round. Awesome.
Right. Absolutely.
All right. So who do we have next?
Next is the sister trio of Sorelle. They are from Lexington, Ohio, and they sang Queen, Good Old Fashioned Lover Boy.
Wow. First of all, Queen is one of those artists. Freddie Mercury, it was the lead singer of Queen. Queen is one of those groups where you kind of get a little nervous.
Right.
Because it's a very tall order to sing a Queen song.
Right.
because Freddie Mercury, as we've told you all in previous seasons, but if you've not watched the Pitchy podcast before, Freddie Mercury is, in my opinion, one of the greatest male rock singers of all time.
Yes.
There's very few that you can put up against him.
Right.
So I was like, okay, trio, sisters, so they're going to have that sibling harmony thing that they mentioned in previous seasons with a previous season 21's winner of a girl named Tom.
Right.
And so the harmonies are probably going to be tight.
Mm-hmm.
What I wasn't ready for and what I was pleasantly surprised was how tight the harmonies were.
They were tight.
Let me tell you about these sisters. And again, you all, I had to put my good ears in to really catch the nuances.
Talk about it.
Everything that they were doing. This vocal arrangement of this song, which I've heard it before, but I wasn't too familiar with this Queen song. But the vocal arrangement for this song, I'm going to say, was PhD level arranging. PhD, not masters.
Not masters.
Not undergrad.
Not undergrad at all.
Not hardly. PhD level, meaning it was a dissertation.
Come on.
Ever put those harmonies together. Girls, if it was you, or ladies, excuse me, if it was you, I'm like, I want to get in on your composition class, like seriously, right. Vocal arrangement class, because those harmonies, both individually, what they did individually and what they did collectively was just bananas. Right. And in fact, when it first started, I was like, I don't know, like literally like 2 seconds in, I was like, I don't know. But then it just took off and it went to a level I've never heard from any duo or trio on this show. Mm-hmm. Sorelle, let me tell you, sisters, that's a word. All of you all are strong vocalists, and you can tell that, but you're also masterful musicians, which is huge for Stephanie and I, because Stephanie and I love the good vocal, but we also love vocalists who are smart and who you can call musicians.
Right.
And that was a masterclass in vocal arrangement harmony.
Absolutely.
And then I'd be without pause by saying, Chance the Rapper, I have no words for you. Like, seriously, I have absolutely no words for you. I wrote this down, Stephanie. I said, the random, insane brilliance of Chance the Rapper.
Yeah.
If you all did not watch this episode, for those of you that are listening to the or watching the podcast and listening, Chance wanted to try just a little something, which I love. If this is a part of the format now, Chance was like, look, ladies, can you try something for me? And then he just did the most random, brilliant thing I've ever seen someone do, a coach do on this show. He's like, I heard a little theater in your voice.
Absolutely.
And anyone that's going to sing Freddie Mercury, you got to have theater in your voice. He said, I heard a little theater in your voice. I'm going to teach you a little line from he said a movie, but Chance, you know, it was a musical first, but movie musical from The Wiz. And I was like, where is he going with this? And then all he said was, what would I do? That's it. He said, girls, can you harmonize to that? And then they just, Stephanie,
what did them sisters do? What did them sisters do? They said
I can't speak for them, Stephanie, but they may not even know what The Wiz is.
Right. Those ladies came in with 3-part harmony and said, what can I do? I said, what?
And if you all know this movie and you know this show, it's the part where the Tin Man comes in and he's singing, you know, what would I do if I could feel?
Right.
And there's a harmony, these three, and from the movie, I think they're in a fun house or an abandoned amusement park. And these 3 voices come out of nowhere. What would I do? And then Chance kept saying, he said, what?
And pointed at them. And those ladies came right in. James, you and I know how difficult it is to be put on the spot to sing something. We've experienced this many times, either in a rehearsal or sometimes while we're on stage serving, where our worship leader will just go right into something that we have not practiced and is expecting us to come in on 3-part harmony usually, and we have to make it we have to do it on the spot. Yeah. And I know how I feel if that happens during service.
Because if you think too much, it's not going to work.
It's not going to work.
Go with it. You just got to go.
These ladies did it on national TV in front of millions and were spot on. It was one of the most impressive things I've ever seen in a blind audition.
Crazy, Sorelle. Crazy. I'm sorry, Stephanie. I'm gonna let you talk because I don't have much more to say other than besides that which we just talked about. I thought that their audition as a trio was one of the best multiple artist blind auditions I've ever seen, and this is why. They did not just sing a song in 3-part harmony. They, just like you explained, James, they arranged the mess out of this song. So we not only heard each of their individual voices, which every one that I heard was strong, but they also gave you 2-part harmony, 3-part harmony, solo. It was the layering. It just, if you're not watching, what I'm doing with my hands is almost doing like a wave, like an ocean wave, because they just layered. Yeah. And it was brilliant on their part to craft their audition that way. It was incredible. They did on that part with the boy. That part.
Listen,
I was like, yo.
It was incredible. It was really impressive.
And the thing is I think Chance is so smart. Because I think he did what he did also to show that these ladies were not one trick pony. To show they are legit, that they're
the real deal.
Put together a really well rehearsed harmony, a fusion of harmonies, right? They were like, look, we can harmonize on the spot. Boom.
Absolutely. And one of the cool things as well to kind of accentuate that point is in their talking piece before their performance, they shared that they are social media influencers with 3.2 million followers on TikTok. Now, when you hear that, it's kind of like, okay, I hope that you're talented, to be honest, because people are influencers and things on social media for different reasons. So it was so amazing to see how talented they were. I'm
gonna go check out your page, Sorelle.
Absolutely.
I can't wait to hear your other things.
One of the things that was on the Voice app is that they've won awards. They've won, it's called the Pop Smash Music Award. 3 of them for their original music. So they're out here arranging and writing original music. So I cannot wait to see what's down the line for them in this competition.
It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. Yeah,
absolutely.
The band, and because we've learned from talking to previous contestants, the band. And the collaboration with the artist and the band, they're just going to have a field day creating things with them. Yeah, absolutely.
And as we talked about before, we kind of talked around him, but they did end up choosing Coach Chance to be their coach.
They needed to.
Oh, that's
crazy.
Absolutely.
Especially when Chance talked about, and Chance really knows his stuff because he's talked about, other artists like Drake and what they do is they find these dissonant harmonies. They find these really obscure harmonic things and incorporate them into their songs as like hooks or Drake did it with Yeba on his last project. And it created a masterpiece, really.
Yes.
But yeah. Oh yeah. Chance was the one for them. It's gonna be
absolutely. 100%.
All right. So next we have, I can't wait to talk about this.
Yes. Next we have Holly Brand. She is 22 years old from Meridian, Mississippi. And she sang Faith Hill's Mississippi Girl.
All right. Well, Holly. I'm going to be straight up, keep it 100 with you, Holly. I did not want to like you. And this is me using my unconscious bias. And I am 100% like, I totally am grown enough to admit when I have an unconscious bias of when you hear someone who says that they've been in pageants. So we've seen, those of you that have seen pageants, whether it be Miss America, whatever, that have the talent portion, we've seen talent portions of pageants, and it can come off pageanty, if that's a word. Right. So I was like, okay, Holly Brand from Mississippi, singing Mississippi Girl. I said, okay, how's this going to go? But let me tell you, from the second Holly opened her mouth, I said, this young woman is a formidable front runner of this season.
Yes.
Did I see pageantry? Absolutely not.
Right.
I saw an incredible vocalist. And it's so interesting because I forget who last night of the coaches mentioned that they heard a little Faith Hill and they heard a little Carrie Underwood. I remember texting Stephanie or calling Stephanie. I was like, I wouldn't go that far. And I actually texting with another friend of mine. And I was like, I wouldn't go that far. But I put my good ears in. That's the theme of today. Our good ears, right?
Yes,
I put my good ears in today. I was like, wait a second. Okay, I didn't hear what they heard because, yes, Faith Hill, 100%, and Carrie Underwood, absolutely. And I even told Stephanie this morning, and I'm first to admit when I'm wrong. I said, if you're going to do a Carrie Underwood, I need to hear a little yodel in your voice because that's what Carrie's known for. She did yodel.
Yeah.
And watching it back, Stephanie, she did throw a Carrie Under. And I thought her vibrato, and for those of you that do not know what a vibrato is, it's when you hold a note, and it's kind of the waver in your voice, like, la. You hear at the end of my voice, it kind of goes like this, like a nice vibrato is nice and even, and it should be like a sound wave like that. And I was like, ooh, Carrie, I hear it. And one of my last things I want to say about her, and this is a Kelly Clarkson note. Kelly has said for years, because Kelly was masterful at it. Kelly said, if you're going to bring a whistle tone to an audition, to these auditions, it better be tasteful and it better be on point. And let me tell you, her whistle at the end of the song was perfectly executed.
Yes, it was.
Executed. And that's all I have to say about it. Holly, I got my eye on you, young lady. That was an incredible audition.
James, I will echo everything that you said because I too, when I heard that she was Miss Mississippi, I said, okay, let's see.
Right.
Out the gate, I would have hit my button after the first line. Immediate, because her voice was so clean. It was so clean. And last season, I talked about finishing your lines. And I look at this, or I listened for this in blind auditions the most. What I mean by finishing your lines is you can tell that an artist is a pretty strong artist, and also that they have really good breath control and control over their voice. If they finish the line of the song and the pitch is still strong. And all of her lines were finished. All of her lines were clean. Yeah. And like you said, that falsetto at the end, the falsetto that she did, incredible. It's like, wow. Like, she's another one that gave us layers.
Everything.
You know, she kept stacking her performance. Great control over her voice. If she does not make it to lives, I don't know. I don't know what to say because she was to me, she was one of the strongest artists of the night last night. Yeah. Incredible.
And to the point that you made earlier about Neil, Did you notice how she gave us a little bit of everything in that audition? It was a perfect audition where she gave us the upper extension. She gave us the vibrato. She gave us a little yodel. She gave us a little, it was just perfect. It was a perfectly executed audition from start.
It really was. It really was.
Strong.
Yeah.
Holly.
So our fun fact about Holly is that she opened a show for Blake Shelton when she was 10 years old.
Yeah.
She won a local contest and the prize was being able to open for Blake. Now, what is very, very interesting is that Blake did not turn for her. And all I can say is I have no idea why, because her vocal was so good that I have no idea why he never said why he didn't turn for her. So, but she did end up on Team Kelly. So Kelly has got a strong female vocalist on her team.
Blake, and what I've seen about Blake, and I could be completely wrong with this stuff, but what I've seen about Blake is Blake likes what he likes, right? There are things that Blake will hear and it will draw his ear. And I'm not saying that he didn't like her, but Blake is very specific, especially when it comes to country music. He likes what he likes.
I just don't know what about, because even Kelly ran over and was like, what is wrong with you? Like, what is the matter with you? Did you not hear?
But remember, Blake is also very strategic where he knows he has to leave room.
And we also have to remember that this is a TV show. So we don't know what order, we don't know. We don't know what we don't know. All we know is what we've been shown. So I'm sure he had a good reason.
Yeah, Holly, again, woo! So girl. 3 back to back. That was just strong.
Right,
awesome.
right.
Awesome. Okay, who's next?
Next, we have Tasha Jessen.
Oh.
She's 21. She is originally from Pakistan, but now she lives in Colorado Springs, Colorado, and she sang Leon Bridges' River.
I love that song. Leon Bridges' first album is one of the greatest albums of the last 10 years. If you don't know it, check it out. Leon Bridges is an incredible artist. Tasha, when I knew Stephanie and I had a talk this morning, and she said, James, go back and listen to Tasha with your good ears, because there are some things that I don't think that neither of us caught by just watching it from the television.
Right.
So I put my good ears in, and I must say, Tasha, I had an experience. I had an experience. Tasha, if you all have not heard this performance, Tasha has been through something. I heard in her voice, and this is how you know you're in the presence of greatness. I heard in her voice, and I wrote it down, Stephanie. I heard an escape from religious persecution in her voice. You wouldn't have, like, to the point that Stephanie made with the previous artist, you wouldn't have to tell me that she and her family escaped from religious persecution. As her backstory, if she would have sung something first, I would have been like, oh, okay, I get it. I hear that in her voice. I hear it. It was an experience. And I'm going to, again, shift my attention over to the Carson Daly. I don't know if you caught this, Steph, but there was a line where she sang something, and I can't remember the exact part it was.
Right.
Carson said, ooh, come on.
He did. Oh, I'll have to go back.
You got to go back and watch it. He said, ooh, come on. Like, he got excited.
Wow.
And we all know Carson Daly knows every artist that's ever been out over the last 25 years.
25 years.
He knows them personally.
Right.
And he's done life with them. He's interviewed them. He's gone to their concerts. And when somebody like Carson Daly, who's very mild-mannered, says, ooh, come on. When somebody is singing, Stephanie.
Because he knows good music, too. Like, it's not just music. Being around them. He knows
good music. The tasteful slowing of her vibrato at the end of every one of her phrases.
Come on.
It is not easy to do. And it can come off as inauthentic if done wrong.
Right.
Stephanie, I must say, she got that oil in her voice.
There's some oil. And
she was like, I love the Lord. My family loves the Lord. We escaped. We were Christians in a Muslim environment, so we had to escape religious persecution, and that's why we moved to, I think she said, to an Asian country.
Yeah, Thailand,
I think. And then she moved to Colorado, and which is amazing because she sounds as American as you and I do.
Right.
It's interesting because I think she was like 12 when they left Pakistan. Which is very interesting. I can't wait to hear more from her. I hear Janis Joplin in her voice. I hear Yebba in her voice.
Come on.
And I hear an artist that I'm not sure if you've heard of called Nika Costa. If you all know Like a Feather, You and Me. Remember that song?
Yes.
That song came out like early 2000s.
Yes.
Sorry. Nika Costa. Nika Costa's first, I don't think it's her first album, but it's her album, it's her soulful album of the late 90s, early 2000s. I'll have Stephanie put a link to it. But yeah, I hear Janis, I hear Nika Costa, and I hear Yebba in her voice. And that to me is scary. All right, Steph, what you got?
I heard just straight up soul in her voice. When she opened up her voice, I was like, oh, you got soul, sis. You got soul, sis. One of the things that we highlighted last season that I again heard this season is that there is a difference between what we hear and what they hear in the studio. Yeah. Sometimes when they break away and you hear the coaches talking amongst each other, you hear the sound,
the true
that you hear the true feed of what they're actually hearing in the house. And as a way to describe it, it's almost as if you're sitting, it would be if you listeners and viewers were sitting in a concert and that's what you hear, as opposed to you watching the same concert, having your good ears in.
Yes.
You can hear more of the nuances. You can hear more of the details of vocal and of instrument when you have your ears on versus when you are just in the room. So us watching it on TV, it would be it was very easy for me to miss some of the nuance of what Tasha's voice was doing during her performance, to the point where it was like, is this pitchy? Is it not? Is it on? Is it not? I put my ears in and it was just like, oh, that's texture.
Yes.
That is texture is what I'm hearing in her voice. It was crazy. I don't know if I've heard a voice like hers before.
Yeah.
It was so cool. I loved the nuances in her voice and in the melody lines that she was doing. The person that popped up into my head, and it was pretty early on in her audition, was Joss Stone. And I feel like I said Joss Stone about somebody last season as well, but I heard Joss Stone.
Yeah.
That
they're all
soul quality.
That neo soul. And
yes.
The reason why I said Janis Joplin, because Janis was more soul blues.
Right.
And that's why it's like she can go anywhere.
Yes, she could.
She can go anywhere.
She could. So the cool fact about her was that her parents were actually recording artists at their church in Pakistan, and she started singing when she was 3.
Wow.
So she's been singing for a long time.
You get it from her mama and daddy.
That's right. And Tasha ended up on Team Blake.
Smart. 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 Tasha could
Sure.
win this, y'all. She could win this.
She could.
She could win this.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
Who we got next? Stephanie?
Next was Ross Clayton, and he is 33 years old. He's from McLeod, Oklahoma, and he sang Blue Ain't Your Color. I love that title. Blue Ain't Your Color by Keith Urban.
I do. Ross. Ross to me, now flow with me for a second, Stephanie. Ross had the Sasha Fierce effect.
Ooh.
Where I felt Ross, when he opened his mouth and started to sing, I saw a complete transformation of who he is.
100%.
In real life. Or
yes.
They showed him to be in his pre-story and who he was. Like, Ross, if you listen or watch, and I say this in the kindest way possible, like you seem kind of like a cool nerd, right?
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with cool nerds by any means. By any means. I'm just saying that when you perform like Beyonce and Sasha Fierce, it is a complete transformation to the positive. Like, you are like the coolest, baddest cat in the club, right?
Right.
Like, yo, complete with your glasses, dude.
With the glasses and the hair. Yes.
It's cool.
Yes.
And like, he is just not even the person he is. And I'm getting emotional thinking about him because his story, like when he the balance of family and a career, and because I have a very personal experience with that you got to make a choice.
Yes.
To make a choice.
Yes.
And he's like, I choose my family.
Right.
And, and I didn't see any regret in the fact that he he's such a supportive wife.
Yes.
Because what I think Ross has done, because Ross is like a project, like a computer analyst project.
Yeah, he's a software developer.
He's a geek, right?
Yeah.
But for him to say, I think he said, like, his wife said, you know what, baby, you got to go ahead and do it. And I think a lot of that had to do with, a lot of that probably had to, and I could be wrong, but a lot of it probably had to do with his wife seeing the sacrifice that he has made for his family, and he has made good on that sacrifice.
Right.
A good dad, a good husband. And he's like, no, I got chickens.
Right.
That's my life, right?
Yes.
And another incredibly seasoned musician. I love these folks that are, and I'm not taking away for 20-somethings and teenagers that are going to come on this show, but it says something about 30 people who are 30 plus who have been in the industry. And Ross was like, dude, I went back and forth between Nashville and Oklahoma, and I just had to make a decision. Right. And that dude, he's my dark horse, Stephanie. He's my dark horse. He's my dark horse. He reminds me of Jaden from last season. Like, totally different voice, totally different vibe, but I'm just saying, I need Ross to go. I'm going to be hurt if Ross does not go further than the next few rounds. I'm going to need them in lives because they need a Ross in lives. Absolutely.
100%. Yeah. First thing I wrote was professional. Like when he opened up his mouth, it's like, oh, you've been doing this for a minute. You've been doing this for a minute. And you are so right with the Sasha Fierce reference, because you see him at home with his chickens and his babies, and it like dad of 3. He gets up on that stage and it's like, wait a minute.
Right.
Did my DVR skip? Like, is this the same dude? And I love that. I love that because he showed up. He was like, okay, this is my time now. I'm going to show up and I'm going to do my thing. And he sold that performance. His tone was beautiful. His performance was beautiful. Like,
time stuff?
Oh, I don't remember.
I think he was.
I don't remember.
I think he was.
But he was just, I'm rooting for him.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for him because I think we come at this in a certain way because of our age and our experience, and knowing that, you know, we've got families, and we've had to real life. We had to make sacrifices for our families and had to put other things, other passions, other interests on the back burner, which we are happy to do. Yes. So it was cool to see that story reflected in Ross, and I just hope he goes so far.
Yeah, Ross is a dark horse because he's gonna bring it. Don't think, y'all, he's not a seasoned musician. He's gonna Sasha Fierce shit every time, and we're gonna be like, oh, where you come from? Right.
So the fun fact about him was that he first discovered music as a senior in high school, where he just happened to audition for Little Shop of Horrors. After college, I believe, he found his audience in Nashville and was doing pretty well, but he decided in 2014, after his daughter was born, to step back from music. So I'm so grateful for this chance for him, and it's never too late. It is never too late. It's never too late.
Parallels, like Ross. I didn't start singing until my sophomore year of high school. And I did Little Shop my senior year.
Come on.
It's crazy.
Come on.
Crazy. And he's my favorite.
Yes, I can tell. And he ended up on Coach Niles' team.
Yes.
Who, by the way, let me stop and talk about our new coaches quickly. And we already talked a little bit about Coach Chance. Coach Niles, heart hands.
Yeah, he's a good
He is a good guy. I'm really going to enjoy watching him, and I cannot wait to watch him coach, because I love his music. There are a couple songs from him that I just love. And he brings that singer-songwriter sensibility to the competition. So I cannot wait to see how he coaches his artists.
Very authentic spirit about Niles.
Yes.
It's so real, so authentic.
Yes.
So just authentic is the only word I can think of.
That's the perfect word. Perfect word.
He is. Like, it's not that you were feeling sorry for him that people weren't picking him, but you were rooting for people to pick Niles.
Absolutely.
Like, come on, y'all, pick him because he's good. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Awesome. All right.
Next up was Michael B. He's 29 years old from LA, and he sang Save Your Tears by The Weeknd.
Now, as someone who has a musical theater background, and I moonlight in other genres of music as well, I'm always a little nervous when they do, when they show the backstory of someone, and it's heavily musical theater. Not saying that I am not a lover of musical theater. It is my bread and butter. So you all remember from last season, Omar, who was one of our favorites, and a fan and a contestant favorite. Omar had a huge musical theater background, but Omar didn't bring musical theater to he brought it. He brought the theatrics, but he didn't bring musical theater sound to his performances.
Right.
And what I loved about Michael B. Is I felt it was a very tasteful mix of theater and pop in his voice.
Right.
Which created he had a very sweet tone.
Yes.
It was
great word.
Sweet tone to his voice. And I always felt like Michael had control of his instrument.
Yes.
And it was a very unique tone.
Yeah.
Michael, I feel, can go far, and he can be like the Justin, because, the similarities of Justin from last season, because only one person turned for Justin.
Right.
And only one person turned for Michael. I feel like he could be like the Justin of this season, because I feel like he has such a different sound than any other person on this show. And it's a very sweet sound. I want to hear his voice in other genres. So I'm very excited to hear that Michael was like, I do R&B, I sing rock, I sing soul, I sing it all. And I can hear it all in his voice. And the fact that he brings a theatrical sound, but his voice is not theatrical. Right. And he mixed his theater background in. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Those are the types of singers that pique my interest.
Yes.
Absolutely. What you think? What you say, Steph?
Ooh, yeah. I called his voice clean. He was another one with a very clean voice to start off with. But then the more you listen, there was like some R&B inflections, and I was like, hold up.
Did you hear those runs?
Hold up, Michael.
Yeah.
Hold up, Michael. And then when he said that he loves to sing soulful music, pop, R&B, I said, okay, okay. I can't wait to hear you sing an R&B song, because he was doing some runs in his audition where I was like, I see you. You're not just theater. You might come from a theater sensibility, but you got a little bit of everything in your voice. So I
hear him singing "Gone" from NSYNC. Wouldn't he? He'd lay that down, Stephanie.
Yeah, James, don't. That
soulful pop. I hear soulful pop in his voice. Yeah.
That just
popped in my head. I was like, I hear that.
Come on. Listen, Michael B., I'm about to ask you on Instagram and ask you to sing me some Gone. Sing us all some Gone, because I like you. That is the perfect song choice. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the fun fact about Michael is that his mom was an anchor, a news anchor and a radio personality, and that he was in the Jersey Boys tribute band in 2017. And they toured all around the country.
Wow.
So he is a very seasoned performer.
And again, keep a lookout for Michael, because if you all remember, Omar Jose Cardona was that seasoned musical theater performer. Musical theater, you all, gets you the stamina, teaches you teaches you how to pace yourself.
Yes.
And teaches you discipline.
Yes.
And you got to have chops. You got to have vocal chops, and you got to be able to act and dance.
So, absolutely.
Keep an eye out on Michael.
For sure.
Another dark horse of mine. Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Who we got next, Steph?
Next was D Smooth. He's 25. D Smooth. 25 years old, from Birmingham, Alabama, and he sang Perfect by Ed Sheeran.
It's so interesting. He's got like in my opinion, like a 90s R&B name. Like that's
for sure.
Like that's
for sure.
Like 90s R&B hip hop, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Like Be Nice or whatever. Maybe it's
right.
But D Smooth I believe he's from Birmingham.
Alabama.
Mm-hmm. Niall said it perfectly. Y'all have no idea how difficult that song is to sing.
Come on.
Perfect. And D Smooth made it look effortless.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, dude, if anyone didn't know you, they would think that, I wouldn't say that they would think you were sloppy with it, but they would think that you weren't intently or intensely singing that song. But no, no, it had nothing to do with that. To me, it was just how smooth he was.
Come on.
Vocals. It sounded effortless. And like Niall said, this is a very difficult song where you don't know where to breathe. And then Kelly put the cherry on it and said, "Did you just Brian McKnight that song?"
Yeah.
And Brian McKnight, Ed Sheeran. And, even though he didn't sound like Brian McKnight, but his choices, and you're going to hear us talk a lot about choices. The choices that Dee chose were tasteful. All of his runs were tasteful, Stephanie.
They were.
I loved it when he was like, you. I was like, okay, church.
Right.
Tell he's churched.
Yes, he's churched.
I loved his backstory. Not because he came from humble beginnings. What I focused in on is I love a vocalist who works their behind off. And you can tell that he is a student of a voice, and that he has worked very hard to get to where he is. And trust me, y'all, the people who make it look the easiest have usually had to work the hardest.
Absolutely.
At their craft. And you could tell he has worked very hard to get to the point that he has gotten.
Absolutely.
Great audition, Dee. Yeah. Great audition. Stephanie.
Yeah. I said that he has churched choices. That's what I wrote down yesterday.
Church.
He's got a very churched sensibility when he's making his melodic choices in this song. You. And just like some of the runs he was doing, it's like, oh my gosh. I said, you are the R&B we need on The Voice. Please keep wearing it. You know, I was saying that from last year. I need to hear me
the smooth R&B.
The smooth R&B male vocal is what I'm always loving to see on The Voice.
Yeah.
I felt like the second half of his performance was better than the first half.
Yes.
I feel like by the time we got into after Baby after that part, like it was just smooth. It was smooth sailing. I didn't even mean to say that, but that's where it felt like he really settled in. And like Niall was saying, who I wanted to mention, that is who turned around for Michael B. So he is on Team Niall.
Oh, thank you.
I don't think we mentioned that. But just as he was talking about breath control, that song for that song, breath control is a necessity. Yeah. It is a necessity. And I think by the time he got to the second portion of that song, he really settled into where to breathe and how to make some of the different.
Right?
Oh, absolutely.
That first thing that goes, y'all, breath. When you get nervous and singing, first thing that goes is your breath. Right.
But overall, I thought it was an amazing audition, and I love that he is with Miss Kelly Clarkson.
Yeah.
So
he seems like just a nice guy.
Oh my goodness, the way he was calling her Miss Kelly, I was like, yes, Miss Kelly.
Southern.
Yes. So the fun fact about D Smooth is that he almost took The Voice stage on season 21, but all the teams were full.
Wow.
It said though that he was thankful for that because at that point he was not taking music seriously at that point. So at this point he is, and look where he is. He is on Team Kelly.
Hey, perfect timing.
Come on, God.
Perfect timing. Woo!
Come on. Hey, hallelujah.
All right, who we got next?
Next is Alex Whalen. He is 43 years old, originally from London, but now he resides in Indian Rocks Beach, Florida. And he sang Help Me Make It Through the Night by Sammy Smith.
Woo! Another like, dude, I would have never guessed when you open your vocal mouth and start singing that you were a Brit, dude. Like, seriously?
Right.
Like, I and then you start talking, and I'm like, yo.
Right.
Kelly said something like how she liked the lower part of his voice.
Right.
I actually was the complete opposite. I got excited when I heard the growl in his voice, Stephanie.
Me too.
And the line he said, "Let the devil take," I think it was the line he really growled it.
Mm-hmm.
I just love that he's one of those, I'm just going to stand here and sing. He's giving me ZZ Top vibes with the beard.
Yeah.
And if I had one critique, and it's so small, and Stephanie talks to this, and she talked to this earlier in the podcast. Watch the end of your phrases, Alex, because you've got a great instrument, and like Kelly also said, your voice is huge, and as someone who has a very, very huge voice myself, I have to sing it all the way through, sing the line all the way through, because I lost some of the end of your phrases, and I don't know, that may have been just an artistic choice because you're a country singer, but again, another very, very powerful singer, and let me tell you, the grit in that man's voice, woo!
Absolutely.
And he ain't give you too much.
No.
Ain't give you too much growl, but when that growl came, it came like a lion, boy. I tell you.
Absolutely. The first thing that I wrote was seasoned voice. Like that thing, his voice was seasoned with salt, pepper, and paprika. Yes. Come on now. Yes. Like there was some, that voice has seen some mileage. And as his pre-interview reflected, he's been gigging around Florida for a while now, like 6 nights a week, something crazy.
Oh, his wife was adorable.
Oh, so adorable.
She was adorable.
So, that definitely showed in his performance. Like you said, big voice, big presence on the stage, but not big in an overwhelming way. Just he's enough to fill the space. His presence and his voice definitely fill the space. Correct me if I'm wrong. Mm-hmm. Is Axl Rose from Guns N' Roses? Yeah. That's who I heard in his voice.
Yes.
When he started doing some of that growl, I was like, do I hear Axl Rose?
Yes.
Do I hear November Rain?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, definitely.
That's definitely what I heard. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what else he does, what comes next for him in the competition, because I think that he has an incredible voice.
You know what's funny, to do another Chris Stapleton reference? Like, I expected Chris Stapleton, because I thought he looked like he favored Chris Stapleton. I expected Chris Stapleton, but I was pleasantly surprised, because I was like, oh, I don't want to hear anyone imitate. And that's, again, unconscious bias because of how he looked. He had that whole ZZ Chris Stapleton look. But no, he's got a sound all his own, and I love it.
Absolutely. So the fun fact about him is he spent 18 years working as what they call a tube driver in London. And basically what that is almost like a subway driver, or not subway. Yeah, a subway driver in London.
Yeah.
Long hours, very dark down there. So I'm sure he was
kind of pour that seasoning on that voice.
Yes. I'm so sure he was ready for that Florida sunshine.
Oh, yeah.
And he ended up on Team Blake.
Yeah, he did. He did. Smart. All right. So who is our final contestant of the evening?
Our final contestant was Noivas. He's from, I think it's Hutto. I think it's Hutto, Texas.
Yeah.
And he's 30 years old, and he sang "A Change Is Gonna Come" by Sam Cooke.
Shout out to Noivas for reversing his name, Saban.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
You know what? That reminded me of the artist Shamo.
Yes.
Shamo.
Shamo.
Silent. No, just like the S is silent on Noivas. Front runner. Yeah. They were going crazy. Yeah. And this was, for all of you that do not watch, this was the full performance that we saw before the episode, even before the season premiere.
Right.
So we actually got a chance to see Noivas before the show came out, or before the season started. I love that he came with an acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
And played it. Didn't just strum. No, he actually was playing. I went back on my good ears, and I was like, yes.
No, he was playing.
Absolutely. I said, Noivas, play that guitar.
Yeah.
I always used to say last season he was strumming my pain with his fingers. It was awesome. Great tone to his voice. Mm-hmm. Great tone, lots of power. Mm-hmm. Noivas, I do have one note for you. Watch your growls, because I love them. I loved what you brought. I mean, that's Sam Cooke, y'all. I mean, you don't come with that song unless you done been through something. Because you can't fake the funk with Change Gonna Come. You can't do it. It is masterpiece of a song written over 50 years ago. Almost 60 years ago. So I say going forward, Noivas, because you are the front runner of this season so far. Going forward, strategically place your growls, because you have an incredible grit to your voice. Yeah, it's just when you keep hearing it, people don't get as excited when you hear it. Not that it's not good, because it's real good. You're the growl king of the season as far as I'm concerned. So, and I also think that by you doing things like that, little things like that, Noivas, I think it will show, like, it'll give your performance like more of a humility, more of a humble performance. Not saying that you are not a humble person, because I could see in your interview and the way you talk to the guests that you are a very humble person. I mean, you're a dad, you're a husband. and I can see the humanity in you and the humility in you. But I think because your voice can do so many things and you have so many tricks that I believe we haven't even begun to see yet, I want you to save them.
Right.
That's just me. I love it when people got tricks and they save them and just release them and then pull them back.
Right.
That's me.
Right. Right. I think with a song like this, and with his backstory, if his backstory was reflected in the song choice, I think that there is an amount of passion that you want to have behind your vocal, especially with this song. And I think that that's what Noiva displayed. And those might have been some of the reasonings for the choices that he made behind his performance. I think the only thing that I would have wanted to see a little bit more is just a little less of the growl and just a little more of just the straight, just like a more tender
vocal line.
Yeah, just the regular vocal line and a little bit more tenderness, just to hear what that portion of his voice sounded like. But it is really difficult to do growl on pitch.
Yes.
And just by him doing that lets me know how incredible of a vocalist he is, because the performance in and of itself, like, there weren't pitch issues.
No.
There was none of that.
Nope.
Which with growling, that is such a difficult thing to do. I think that I just would have liked to have seen more textures to his voice in the performance. But again, I can understand if the growl was a choice, why it was. Who he reminded me of was Israel Houghton.
Yes.
He was straight up Israel. With the guitar, with the growl in his voice, with the passion in which he was singing.
Yes.
That's
with the crazy vocal range.
The crazy vocal range.
Most of us can't sing.
Yes, that's who he reminded me.
Range for a male.
Right. So I guess I'm looking for all of the shades of Israel in his next performance, and I think that he's going to give that to us because I can already tell what a capable musician and vocalist he is. And I'm really excited to see what he's going to do next in the competition, for sure. The fun fact for him is that earlier in his musical career, which it seems like he's already had, because he has opened, forget this, Andy Grammer, Gavin DeGraw, and Jason Mraz.
Wow.
Now, those are some really interesting names, but he did note that he saw himself as a pop artist.
Interesting.
So it would make a lot of sense that these are the artists that he opened for.
Yeah.
So that right there tells you that this dude can sing. If he's opening for these guys, then
big time.
So I'm really looking forward to seeing what's next for Noiva in the competition. And he is with guess who? And I was so surprised knowing that there is a night 2 tonight.
Right.
That they told us who he went with, because they usually do
hold
the holdover, the hang on to or whatever, but he is with Coach Chance.
He
so
sure
I'm
is.
Really excited to see what their collaboration is going to look like.
Absolutely. Well, woo! We made it. First episode.
We made it. Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
Incredible.
We had a lot to talk about, but we are just getting this party started, and we just thank you all and hope that you will stay on the party train with us all the way through till the end.
Yes.
Definitely tell everybody what they need to hear.
Okay, so don't forget to follow and subscribe to the Pitchy Podcast on your favorite podcast platform so you can be the first to know when we drop a new episode. And as you know, we are on YouTube. Search for the Pitchy Podcast and hit that subscribe button so you know when we drop a new video. And also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at the Pitchy Podcast for new episode alerts, episode clips, and so much more.
Absolutely. So thank you all so much. Stephanie and I, we got more to watch because tonight's episode is going to be more blinds, and we're all here for it.
Yes, we are.
So until we see you all later this week, have a wonderful rest of your day.
Bye-bye.